Missing teacher found. Pew, 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 in my backyard. Oh, but I said Miami backyard. Missing teacher found. Pew, 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 in backyard. Miles from the crib. Bruh. This is some crazy ass shit, folks. I don't know what to say, folks. They get it back. Oh, they get it back.
An Oklahoma family is devastated after their missing loved one was found dead. But they say they're getting conflicting information about what happened, and they want some straight answers. We're sitting down with Chad Ayers, a former sheriff's deputy and founder of Proactive Response Group, to talk about where the investigation goes from here. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Amanda Harms, a 46-year-old teacher, mom of 3, grandmother of a grandson. She was last seen on Saturday, January 13th, the day before her birthday. And then on Thursday, 5 days later, she was
not
found
the day before
dead
the
in a
B-Day,
backyard in Muskogee.
Bro, what happened?
Police have said that they don't think that there was any foul play, but her family is confused by this. Eric Harms, Amanda's husband, and Shelley Townsend, Amanda's mother, say they met with investigators to try to get more information. Now, to talk about this, I want to bring in Chad Ayers, former sheriff's deputy, founder of Proactive Response Group, to dig a little bit more into this. Love having Chad on when we talk about these kind of investigations that haven't been closed yet, understanding what happened. Chad, good to see you. Great to have you back here on Sidebar. I want to lay this out for everybody.
Bro, ain't that the
So
dude from
family says
Catfish?
that Amanda was walking to the store.
Well, he know about
She didn't
what
take
happened
her
to the
money or
mama.
her phone. They later
Been
learned
moved.
that she was seen on camera getting a ride from someone. Amanda was found dead in that backyard, which was about 3 miles from her home, possibly inside of a shed. And investigators told Townsend that it looked like Amanda may have tried to climb a fence because there was some clothing tangled in the fence wire. In fact, Townsend said, quote, "We won't know for sure until we get the autopsy report. We do know at the end of her life, she was desperately trying to get somebody to let her come into a house so she could get warm, but they would not answer the door." She also said, quote, her husband said in all the years that he's known her, meaning known Amanda, she would never climb a fence, but obviously maybe because of the circumstances, she was desperate and thought if she could get over that fence, maybe she could find another house that would let her come in. Chad, what do you make of this?
Well, what would y'all do if you let somebody, you know what I'm
Just
saying,
to
somebody
get
just come
face,
banging on
there's
your
a lot
door,
of, like,
half
when you first read
naked
the story,
with
there's a lot
scars
of
and stuff all over their
that
body.
would
Come on,
initially make anybody go back and say, okay, the husband had something to do with this.
What you gonna do? Let me know in the
someone that
comments.
she knew. Leaving the house, you know, just the whole
Bruh,
story.
that's the dude
She's
from
walking to the
Catfish.
store, but she
Ain't
leaves
it?
all of her personal belongings. She leaves
His
all
hair
of
does
her
not grow.
cash, credit cards, and just starts walking.
Ugh.
But the more
God.
that we, you know, dive into this and hear what law enforcement says about the case, it kind of brings light to probably, you know, what happened. I don't think we're going to get the full detail. Maybe not ever. You know, once the autopsy report comes back, we're probably going to get a good cause of death. But at face, it is concerning. But as we start to look at, you know, the facts and how
What
law
if they was
enforcement
like-
found her and some of the doorbells,
What if they made her forced
that
to
were or
smile?
ring doorbells or surveillance that was captured of her,
Goddamn.
it kind of brings a bigger picture
God.
that we can talk about.
The police said there's nothing suspicious at the home. There's no signs of foul play. What does that tell you?
You know, if I'm looking at this for an outsider, something tells me that maybe there was some type of either just an argument or a disagreement, or, and again, I'm just speculating here, that maybe Amanda was intoxicated, went to go walk around, not being in her right frame of mind. What I can tell you, Jesse, is I've worked cases where people were discovered, you know, unfortunately frozen to death in these types of conditions, and they will seek, there comes a point where they do start to seek shelter, and, you know, mentally their mind goes to, you know, anywhere that may be warm, which is, you know, Amanda being found in that shed. But I think when toxicology reports come back, it's going to shed a little bit more light on, you know, was she under the influence of any type of drugs or prescription medication or alcohol that caused her to, you know, go out there. Let's be honest, Jesse, you're up in an area that is freezing cold all the, you know, most of the winter time and snow and stuff like that. it's just not a common occurrence for someone just to go walking in the freezing snow, especially for a distance like 3 miles.
I guess my concern is, and to be clear, let me clarify what I said. Police said there was nothing suspicious at the scene, not necessarily the home. So nothing suspicious at the scene where they found her, or foul play. It just seems to me, if we're taking all of this as true, and she walks off without having these items on her, and just to go further with what Ms. Townsend said, her mother, quote, I believe that somewhere along her route that she was somebody picked her up, somebody offered her a ride possibly, and because it was so cold, I believe she got in the vehicle with them. They offered her a ride, she got in, and it was the wrong person. She's speculating there. But just to be clear, that's the part that doesn't add up to me. Why would Amanda be in this position? It's different if, for example, you went out to a nearby store, it was cold, you left your phone, you left your keys, you couldn't get back in the house, something like that. It was a snowstorm. I'm not getting that here. That, and 3 miles away from her home is quite a distance.
Well, and let's be honest, and that's what's kind of concerning to me, or
3 miles.
that kind of is what's taking me back to what state of mind, or what frame of mind was Amanda in. We're not just talking about someone who was homeless, or
and did they try to go to her house
drug
first?
addict, or prostitute that's walking the streets. Let's just lay it out there.
How do you freeze
this is
that fast?
a mother.
Boy, had to be in Antarctica. Was they in Antarctica?
Someone who had a good and what seems to be a good home life to just up and walk away. Makes me think there's some type of frame of mind. It's 2024. You just don't see that happening. So that really, like I said, the toxicology reports is going to be very interesting to me once that comes out, as to see, was she under the influence of something that made her make these decisions, from the start to finish.
Let me ask you about that. So the medical examiner is going to do a full autopsy, going to do a toxicology report. Did you think the police saying there are no signs of foul play at this point, they could reverse that once this report comes back? Or do you think that they already know something and they can guess what the autopsy and toxicology report's going to say, but they don't want to confirm it until they know for sure?
Right. So a lot of times, especially in South Carolina, where I'm from, and I've taken part of, a dozen autopsies in my career, because I didn't really work violent crimes a lot. I was affiliated. But the actual autopsy and cause of death is pretty much immediate if there is something right there. Especially if there was any type of bruising, signs of any type of physical assault, sexual assault, things like that, you're going to know that immediately. Now, the toxicology part usually takes 6 to 8 weeks to come back. So you're talking about an extended period of that. If there was any type of bruising or signs of a physical struggle, I truly believe that the Muskogee Police Department would let the family know, hey, we suspect that there is some type of foul play, but we are investigating this more. I don't see Muskogee Police trying to cover this up, saying there's nothing there when there was something there.
Did the elements affect it if she had been out there and hadn't been discovered for several days?
I mean, these pathologists are pretty good. I mean, you can even see in bodies that have been burned or decomposed, they can tell, bruising. Again, I'm not part of the medical field to really dive into that. Obviously, especially in colder temperatures, your metabolism slows down. Cold temperatures is good for preserving the body, obviously. I mean, we saw this in the Arctic age, right? So the cold weather is good for preserving, bodies.
That's what I said.
But I still go back to, and this is Chad Ayers just speculating that it's going to come out that there was something in her system, whether it was just intoxication, some type of pills or alcohol. I hope that's not the case for the family, obviously. But that's kind of what I've, as I've read several of these stories and dove into this, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I just don't see anyone in their right mind. Look, Oklahoma, last week got hit with a ton of snow. And I just don't see someone being in their right frame of mind, leaving all their belongings and going on a walk. What I want to know is, a little bit more from the husband. Again, I do not suspect the husband has anything to do with this, but, I want to dive in. That as an investigator, that's what I want to know. Hey, was she under the influence of anything that night? See if he's honest about that.
What about the person she maybe was in the car with? Do you think the investigators or police are looking into who that is? Because the family is now asking for anyone with surveillance video that might have spotted Amanda, let them know. try to sort out what happened, who she might have gotten a ride from. I mean, do you think they're looking into that person, or do you think they know who that person is?
You know, with today's modern technology and cameras being everywhere, we've talked about this on, some of your shows before. Ring doorbells, surveillance cameras, stoplight cameras. Something tells me they probably have a good idea, or probably have already identified the vehicle in this. And 100%, that's part of your investigation. I want to know who the last person she spoke to or had contact with before. That could also shed light into that. I'll be honest. Once they identify the last person, I wouldn't be surprised if they, ask for a DNA swab from that person, just to eliminate them as any type of suspect should something be discovered throughout this process.
Yeah, it's really, really sad situation.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm going to continue. We're going to continue to follow it, because I think we need some answers as to what happened here. Clearly, the family does. You mentioned the toxicology report might not come back for some time. The autopsy report. Let's continue to focus on this, because she was sounded like a great person, family woman, 6th, 7th grade teacher, and her school district, Muskogee Public Schools, they're providing counselors for staff and students as they try to deal with this incredible loss. So really, our hearts go out to Amanda Harm's family, and we will continue to follow it and see what happens. But Chad Ayers, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Always good to be here, Jesse.
All right, everybody, that's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll speak to you next time.
Oh my God.
Sidebar. I want to lay this out for
Yeah. That be gonna end in the end. I accidentally clicked off of that.
Bipolar one?
Hey, stop it. What was that video about, fool? I realized I just forgot everything. So that's it for this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Drop a comment what y'all want to see next. Follow me on Instagram at STA KT and at KT. And I'm seeing y'all next video, man. Big.